Good morning, beautiful, redeemed people of God. I want to sit with you this morning about something that I have actually been having a conversation with my little brother about. And this morning, I've been trying to help him to understand this certain concept. And this morning, I had a situation. Well, it wasn't really a situation, but I just had a moment where God reminded me. And one of the things, and it's funny because I've been trying to relate to him and trying to explain to him, like, look, I understand what you're going through, but you can get through it. Trust me, like this is not the stay out, like this is not the end all be all. You don't have to stay here in this place or in this mindset concerning this thing. Like you can, like, your breakthrough, like there's a breakthrough on the brink for you to come into a revelation or something where you can be able to cross over this stuck point or cross over this point where you keep meeting the tension and the frustration with. And so this morning I had a moment, and that moment brought me and was able to give me language to basically put him in my shoes, because we were talking also about empathy yesterday. We were talking about how sometimes we have to put ourselves in other individuals' shoes, not just to understand them, but to see how we can help them to understand as well, other perspectives and different things, points of view, and things like that. So this morning, God definitely, I had a moment, and the Lord definitely showed me, like, this is it, and this is how, this is another revelation, another point to give, and at the same time, it was giving to me. So I wrote down some notes because I don't want to get lost. Now, I really don't want to make this video more than 20 minutes, but I also am not going to hold up the Holy Spirit. If he decided to talk, I'm gonna let him talk. I'm gonna let him talk. But at the same time, I want to keep order to things so that way I can basically give and pour out how the Lord helped me to just see this thing even this morning in a different perspective. Okay, so at a moment, and I am, if you don't know, I'm a wife and I'm a mother, and I'm a mother of young children as well. So, having to pay attention to them and to my spouse, it's very, very much hands-on and focused to them right now at this point in their lives. As your kids get older, you can kind of, move a little back. But y'all, those of you who are parents of young children, and those of you who are married, even though, with marriage, there's no age, you don't grow to a certain point and then stop participating in marriage. No, and that's a constant thing as well. You never back away from that. You never draw away from that. You always continue to grow in that. So this morning had my moment, and I lately, I have been feeling kind of like I can't get my time to do what I want to do, what I need to do, because as a mom and as a stay-at-home mom, it's like 24/7. There's no clocking out of what we do. There's no clocking out of motherhood. There's no clocking out of wifehood. There's no clocking out of that. It's a 24/7 thing at all times of the day. That is what you are. So you don't clock out of that. You don't you just can't come out of that. But I've been feeling lately like, God, I don't have the time to do what I want to do. I don't have the time to do what I need to do. Like, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to get this done. God, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. And it's been being kind of frustrating. Like, it's like every time I sit down to do something, to even to read my Bible, to pray, like, I'm like, God, I want time to myself to pray. They say bring your children into your prayer time and stuff like that. But God, I want time to myself to pray, because there are things that I desire to go into, to deep, to go to just dive into with you, just by myself, and I don't want the distraction. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want it. I want that focus, so I can be able to hear, so that I can be able to, and just pray into whatever I need to pray into. So I feel like every time I sit down to do these things, even concerning God, whether it's concerning my business, whether it's concerning, every time I sit down, like, one of my children interrupts, or someone is always pulling me in a way where they need my attention. And I'm like, and I've been going through, and I've had to repent, because I have complained. and everything, but that pull and that constant, I have felt like a lot like I've had to give myself to everybody else and have not been able to get what I need. And it's easy to feel like that, especially when things are redundant, almost repetitive, seemingly like you're always doing the same thing, like nothing is different, and it feels like a stuck point. It feels like nothing changes and nothing will change, and a lot of times it's hard for you to see the change that's actually happening in the midst of it. Even the change that God is doing in you, it's hard to see that in the midst of it, because all you're focused on is what I'm having to do, and I'm frustrated with having to do it because it's not what I want to do or what I think that I should be doing to produce a particular result or to bring something forth that my mind thinks needs to happen. So God has really been breaking this attitude in me. He's been reminding me of my first ministry, which is at home, which is being a mother, which is being a wife, that comes before, even before getting in front of or standing on a stage or standing on any platform and speaking, even before this right here, that my duties in my ministry and my service as a mom and a wife, they come first. At the end of the day, period, at point blank period, they come first. And that's God ordained. I got to have these things in order before I get on anybody's platform and tell y'all what to do. You know what I'm saying? Or tell y'all what God has given me, or tell y'all what thus said Lord. I got to get my work first. You know what I'm saying? I have to do that. I can't be hypocritical up on here and telling you to do these things, and then God's not going to allow me to do that. He's not going to allow me, because no. We can't be faking the funk up here. We cannot be faking the funk up here. But he's been reminding me of my first ministry, that's where you come and serve first. You're worried about serving and doing all these speaking things, and you're worried about your YouTube. You're worried about your branding business. You're worried about all these things and what you can't get done for that. But I need you to come right here first. This is what matters first, regardless of what you think, and regardless of what the world makes you think. This is what matters first, and I need you to come here first. So he's just been reminding me of that I got to come and get these things right. And it's easy, even in what I do, like I said, when things be repetitive and stuff like that, and it's like you can't really see the progress. It's easy, and I'll speak this for myself, and I don't know who else. I don't know if you, sis, I don't know if you feel this out there, brother. I don't know if you feel it either. But it's easy to feel like I don't do enough, because I often feel like what I do has no value, or does not have as much value compared to my spouse. As a stay-at-home mom, and I'm gonna speak to the stay-at-home moms as well. Whether you have do something from home to produce some type of income, or not being able to go out and not being able to move and do what your husbands do, or do what your spouses do by going out to work and actually bringing in a solid paycheck or salary. And when you're constantly at home, seemingly doing the same things over, cleaning up the same messes over and over again, picking up after the same and doing the same acts, making dinner constantly, do like that repetitiveness it's almost like it seems to take the value out of what you do, especially when it's not constantly, and not that we should be seeking for constant affirmation and constantly for people to tell us, oh, you're doing such a good job. Not that we should be looking for that, because our validation should come from God. We should never be looking for man to validate our works or validate our service. It's always, because the Bible tells us that we do unto man as if we were doing unto God. That even when we serve man, that we're serving God, that we serve even under man, or serve man as we are serving God. That's what so if anything, we should be looking for any reward or anything from anybody, it should be from God. Because otherwise, if we're looking and seeking the validation of man, and this is something he had to get on me about, if you're seeking the validation of your husband for what you do, if you're seeking for him to constantly appreciate, or for him to constantly speak on it, or for him to constantly point it out, then you are not doing it for the right reason. And the reward that you desire, that's why you keep ending up feeling the way you feel, feeling frustrated and feeling resentment. And because I had to get with me with that too, because you're starting to resent him a little bit. You're starting to feel a little bit of resentment because he can go and come and go, or seemingly come and go as he pleases, and you're stuck. You feel stuck, and you feel like what you're doing is not getting enough attention. You feel like it don't get enough thanks. You feel like you don't get enough praise. But let me humble you real quick. Let me humble you real quick. If you're seeking that, then that will be your reward. If you're only seeking that, okay, then that will be your reward. Sure enough, either whether he speaks it or not, that when he does finally say, or when you do walk around with your attitude, he does finally say, like, yeah, like that's your reward. And you're worried about the wrong thing. When your reward that you should be worried about is your validation that you should be worried about. It should come from God. Because not only will he validate and affirm your service, but also he rewards you. What you do in private, he will reward you in public. What you're doing back here and what you're doing, and it's going to show you're going to reap the benefits in public, baby. You're going to reap benefits of what you're doing at this house, okay? Even though it don't seem like it, you're going to reap benefits for what you're doing at this house. You're going to reap them. And people are going to see you reap them. And they're going to see the good things that God has not withheld from you, because what you came and you did humbly behind closed doors, and you didn't complain about it. You didn't murmur in your heart, and your heart be showing that there's some issues, because the murmurs, them heart murmurs and stuff, it's letting me know something wrong, something going on with your heart, and we need to check that. So when you're able to move and do what you need to do at the house, and not seek for validation, and not seek for anybody to tell you how good you're doing, but you know that God is pleased with your work, that should always be enough, because you are serving him. And yes, we love, there's this love or this desire to serve man that comes out, because that's just, in a humble way. But you serving God should always be first off. God, I'm serving you. I'm doing this as unto you. I'm serving my husband and my house and my children, because I serve. This is how I'm serving you. This is how I'm worshiping you. This is how. But I ain't gonna go too far in that, because and I said it's gonna be less than 20 minutes or be 20 minutes, but it is what it is. I told y'all. But if you stick around and watch, then you're gonna be, by the end of this, you're gonna be able to take something with you that's gonna shift your mindset. That's gonna be a breakthrough. That's going to be able to shift your thinking concerning some things. But it was easy for me, and I really felt like what I did or what I do has no value compared to what my husband does. It felt like, because he brings in a check, and because he brings in something tangible to see for his work, for the work that he's done, he receives something tangible, and he receives something that seems to contribute to the house, or make the house better in my eyes, because bills get paid. So because you get to bring home something every week, and you get to buy yourself something, or you get to do this, or did you in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, that's valuable. But my constant cleaning up the kitchen, and my constant doing laundry, and my constant watching the kids, it just doesn't feel like it's producing anything. It doesn't feel like it's bringing forth anything tangible that I can take, and here's the thing, that I can profit from. It does not seem to yield a profit for me, God. And what I'm learning as well is that this is one of those things that it does yield a profit, but it's one of those things that over time, it builds up. And so it builds up and builds up. And then when you get to the time, it's like you release, like the Lord releases a lump sum of blessings. Okay. But it's one of those things that gradually build up. But when you're not weekly seeing that a paycheck hits your account, and you're like, okay, for all the work that I've done, this is what it's worth. You know what I'm saying? But like when your brain is programmed to attach a number to what your work is worth, then that's how it is. And so for me, because my brain, and this is one thing that God had to deal with me about as well, is that I always have done things transactionally. Even though I love and desire to serve, it's almost a sense that I have felt like that there has to be a value to what I do or what I give to other individuals. And so in a way that has transferred over to me feeling like that if I don't bring something in that people can see, then what I do is not enough to them. Then what I do, then I begin to think and feel insecure that they think that I'm not enough. They think that I'm not worth it, or they think that I'm not doing enough. Because people will talk and say, oh, stay at home moms, they don't do anything. Or they don't. And so in my mind, because of what people have said, or because of what I have believed that people have said, in my mind, I'm thinking I'm not enough, because I get that there's a number, or the number that's associated, or the amount that is associated with what I do is zero. That when people look, that because I don't get a paycheck for what I do, that there's no value in it, and people can't see the value because they can't see how much it brings in. And that's the issue. That's the issue in the mindset that God is like, he's been trying to break, like, baby, baby. Okay. Like, look here. and that's unfortunately a mindset that a lot of us have. And we've been conditioned that way because of culture, because of society, because of just the God of this world who just dangled everything, money in your face, and all these things, and get, and then we have Facebook, or not Facebook, we have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have the girlies and stuff on these apps who show you these lives, who are selling lifestyles of the rich and the famous, or even, at least not even of the rich and the famous, but of the influencer. We're seeing all these lifestyles and stuff, and we're not living that, or we don't have that. And it's like, okay, like I literally have nothing to show for what I do. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a feed. I don't have anything aesthetically pleasing to show anybody. But it's easy to feel that way. It's easy to feel that way. And what I've learned is that the devil, he wants me to believe those things, and he wants me to believe that, so that I essentially adopt busy work. I wrote it down. I call it busy work. Busy work. That's that toiling. That's that anxious toil sometimes, but that busy work, that restlessness that you just keep going and keep going and keep doing stuff, and keep piling stuff on. And when I take on that busy work, what happens is I either miss what God is doing. Okay, I either miss what God is doing, or become frustrated with what I think is his process, but it's not really his process. It's really just me. But I miss him. Ultimately, the biggest thing is that I miss God because of this busy work. So because I'm feeling like I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, because of the pressures, and because of the comparison, and because of the idolatry. Well, I ain't gonna go there, but because of the idolatry as well, I'm doing all this busy work trying to achieve, get, bring in, that I miss God where he needs me to be at, because I think that that's not enough. That God, where you have me serving at, where you have me at doing around this household, that's not enough. It's not bringing in anything. It's not adding anything to, it has no value. But this is the lies that I'm believing. Okay, this is the lies that we believe, but it actually does, and that's what God began to show me as well. I'm going to stay on track. But the truth is that the devil, he wants us to believe these things. He wants us to believe this so that we can adopt that busy work and be busy and totally miss what God is doing. And then we get stuck in places, and then we never pass the test that we're supposed to be passing. We never grow, and because we're stuck in this mind, we're stuck in that set. That's really, and it's really just us. It's really the lies that we believe that we need to come out of agreement with. It's really the lack of faith, the doubt. It's really the distrust that we have for God to provide. I mean, let's talk about it. It's really those things. And one of the things, as I have been feeling this way, a couple of months ago, I was telling my mom how I was feeling. And one of the things that my mom told me, she said that the enemy wants you to think that your family is a distraction. She's like, the enemy wants you to think that your family is a distraction. So when it feels like the work I am piling on, or I'm not obliged, I'm obligated to do, the enemy wants me to think that my family is a distraction to that, or is an interruption, or is in the way of what I need to do. But it's not. It's the other way around. But I've been deceived. I believe the lie. I'm not trusting God. I'm not trusting, what God is saying for me to do, and where he's calling me to serve or to be obedient. And so God is teaching me that my duty to serve comes first, and he makes room for the rest. And so this is the part where God began to just change my perspective a little bit, and he began to his word just began to kind of just wash the things out of me. Okay. But he makes room for the rest. Like I have a duty to serve here, my husband and my children. I have a duty there first, and he will make room for the rest of the things that I think I need, or the rest of the things that he just wants to add to me. And so he broke down Matthew 6:33 for me in a different way, and it changed my perspective. Like, it just completely just I was like, You know what I'm saying? And so we know that Matthew 6:33, it says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. And that's the New King James Version. But it says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. And we know that, and if you're reading that, if you go in and you read that, I want you to read, I want you to start at verse 30, I believe, and then just go all the way to the end, because that, just all of that, all of that, you know what I'm saying? But it says that, and so right there, right before that verse, right before 6:33, Jesus tells us not to. In the previous verses, Jesus tells us not to worry about what we should eat or drink or wear, or in my case, how I can provide or how I can produce something valuable, so that I don't feel like I'm stagnant or stuck or not doing enough or not bringing anything in or not profiting in my family. He said that these things are the things that the Gentiles, the world seeks. These are things that those who are outside of his people, who are outside of him, think. These are the things. So this is me, essentially, me worrying about these things. I have conformed to the pattern of the world. I have conformed to the pattern of those around me by constantly seeking or worrying about how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to do this, and I'm not trusting him, because one who trusts in God, one who believes, one who rests in God, does not worry about those things, because they know that God is going to provide it. So he said, these are the things that the Gentiles, this is what they see. This is what the world seeks. So you part of them. So you one of them. You one of them. Amen. We one of them? No, we not. No, we not. And he reminds us that God already knows. And see, that's the thing. We be thinking that we know better than God. Okay, and how can we know better than the one who created us? Okay, yeah, no. But he reminds us that God already knows what we need. So in my case, he already knows what I need physically as far as resources. He already knows what I need as far as money, whatever, groceries. Those things, my physical needs. He already knows what I need. He already knows what I need. But also, as far as time for myself, and time with him, he also knows what I need. So me being frustrated because I can't even have 30 minutes to myself to just sit and be with you, or 30 minutes to myself to work out, or I can't, you know what I'm saying? But he already knows that I need that. He already knows that I need time with him. He already knows that I need time to myself. And one of the things that he had to do was kind of just deconstruct what that time looked like as well. He had to change my mind on what that looked like as well, because for me, time with him, it looks like, and also let me just backtrack and say, talk about the seasons real quick, because one thing that he's been dealing with me with is seasons as well. That certain times and seasons in our lives, there are things that we're able to do. One season I might be able to sit in the closet for 30 minutes unbothered, but the next season I can't, because my life has shifted, and because I'm in a different place, or God is dealing with something else in my life, and I've had to shift. So therefore, my time with him is not looking like 30 minutes in the closet anymore. It's looking like 30 minutes sitting down there at the sink washing dishes. And he had to kind of move that, look, you want time with me, but I'm willing to spend time with you. I'm willing to meet you where you are. I'm willing to meet you in the kitchen. I'm willing to meet you in the laundry room. I'm willing to meet you while you are nursing your son. I'm willing to meet you in these places, but you're trying to confine me and confine our time and confine our relationship to a place and to a time constraint and to all these things. And because that's what you've been structured to think, that you won't hear me well if you're not by yourself, or you won't be able to receive, or I won't reveal my mysteries to you unless you are on your face in your room, or I won't, you have conditioned yourself to think these things. And because you have locked me up, you have locked yourself up, and then you have limited me on what I can reveal and bring to you and minister to you when you need it, because you think that you have to get into that place to be there. No, I don't need you to be in a certain position. I need your heart to be in a specific posture. And as long as your heart is in that posture, and if it's in that posture to serve, and you show up where I tell you to serve at, or where you need to serve at, we're going to have our time right there. And I'm going to give you exactly what you need in that time, exactly what you're looking for in that time. Okay? Listen, listen, he made it make sense for me. But he reminded us these things. He also knows that, like I said, the time that we need. He knows all that. But he says to seek the kingdom of God first and his righteousness, and all I need, he's going to add to me. And so the way this translated to my understanding is that in my situation, my seeking first of the kingdom of God is my service in my home, which is my first ministry. And then he said, if I seek to serve, or if I seek by serving to get all to get all that I need, I'm going to get it. I'm going to receive it, because in the place that I serve, righteous fruit is produced. In the place where I serve, righteousness comes forth. And if I seek that, the Lord will make room for everything else that I need, and He does, or everything else that I'm thinking about, I'm trying to make room for in my own strength. He's gonna do that. I don't have to worry about that. So when I see this verse and I apply it to my situation, it reminds me to seek the Lord in every place that I serve in my home, and to have an expectancy for Him to be found there. So so if I'm in the middle of working on something and my baby cries, or I have to go make dinner, or I have to stop and go do something in the middle of what I think I'm supposed to be doing, or what I think I need to do, if something is calling me, something in my household is calling me to a place to serve, then I can expect to meet God there. Okay, I can expect for that moment to be a moment where me and God, where the altar, where upon that altar there's a sacrifice being made, the altar of my heart, a sacrifice being made, or upon where there's an opening where me and God have opened up a direct line of communication, even in that place, and that God is going to meet me in those places, because I am seeking in those moments to find Him, and I'm also seeking. When it says seek Him in all His righteousness, I'm also seeking for a work to be done in me. I'm also seeking for righteousness. I'm also seeking for just His goodness, His glory to be revealed even in that moment. I'm constantly seeking that. So when I shift from trying to do everything, all the busy work to produce, and rather, instead of that, I seek Him and I seek righteousness in my service, I will always find Him, and I will always find something even more valuable. And then He will come along and add everything else that I need. He will come along and add and supply my needs. He will come on according to the riches of His glory. He gonna do what He said He gonna do. And a lot of things, a lot of times, that work that He needs to do in me is like my patience, especially with myself. But I'm seeking Him. I'm seeking in those moments. I'm seeking to find Him, and I'm seeking the work that He needs to do in me, or the work that He's doing around me, or whatever it is that He's trying to produce in my household. I'm seeking that. So if my child is crying, okay, God, I'm seeking You, and I'm seeking You even in having to get up from my desk right here where I'm reading. Maybe I only got the verse 2, but God, then there's some righteousness or something. There's something being produced, or there's something here, or You said. So I'm going, and I'm going to go gladly, because I'm looking for You even there. And I know that You're going to be there. I have an expectancy that You're going to show up right in the nursing room. I have an expectancy that You're going to show up at my kitchen sink. I have an expectancy that You're going to show up at my stove. I have an expectancy that You're going to show up in the laundry. I have an expectancy, and that something righteous is going to be produced. Whether that righteousness is produced in me, whether that fruit is produced in me, or it affects something else, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up, because I'm seeking that and I'm expecting that. Okay. And sometimes the enemy and the world around you, listen, we know this too well. Sometimes the enemy and the world around you will pressure you, having you feeling all kinds of ways about what you don't do. Okay, and need to do, and how quick you need to do it, how quick you need to jump on this, and and it'll rush you, and it's really a thinking trap. It's a thinking trap that takes us out of rest in God. It's really, and that's the biggest thing that God is trying to show me. Like, look, if you really trust me, and if you're really resting in me, then your service, you should know that your service and where I call you to serve is enough to sustain you, because I am going to take care of you. I am going to provide your need. You don't have to always produce a check to be taken care of. You don't always have to produce $300 from doing something to be cared for. If you come and you serve me, and that's the thing, we always think that blessings are money. No, they're not. If you come to me and you serve right here, I will send you help. And your help may look like a helping hand, or your help may be all of a sudden your sister-in-law is like, can I keep the kids? Or your help may be this, or somebody may come along and say, hey, I got $100 worth of groceries that I would like to give to you, because like you show up in places because you know that God, that in your service, that God is going to take care of you. And I think about, even I've been speaking on priesthood before a platform, and one of the things I talked about was the priest, how God took care of the priest, how even when they would sacrifice, make the sacrifices that God gave out of the sacrifice, God fed them. So out of what we give, out of how I serve, out of their service, God fed them. So out of our service, God feeds us. God fills us up. God gives us what we need. He still does. So show up in them places and serve so you can get what you need and get better. And get better. You know what I'm saying? But it takes us, that thinking trap that we get stuck in, it takes us out of rest in God. And it takes out of what the word says, when we trust in him with all of our heart and lean not on our own understanding, but in all of our ways, we acknowledge him and he directs us. He orders our steps. He sets us on the right path, the path of righteousness at that. But he sets us up right, and he orders us, and he sends us in the right way, in the right direction, in the right rooms, in the right areas, to the right people. He sets that up when we trust in him with all of our heart. And that's a problem as well. Some of our hearts are divided. Our hearts are divided. Our loyalty is divided. We serve in two gods. We serve in God and mammon. You can't serve both. You cannot serve God and mammon. And that mindset, that thinking trap of I gotta do to produce money. Who do you think you're serving? You're not serving God. You're not serving the Lord. You're serving mammon. And so you're gonna have to choose. Okay, God, I'm gonna choose to serve you, and I'm gonna rest in you, or I'm gonna choose to serve mammon, and I'm gonna continue with this endless toil, with this busy work, trying to just produce, and even measuring myself according to my works. We're not gonna dig into that today, but that's a thing as well. Okay. But we get stuck and we get frustrated and we fall into this trap. And when we try to make we also fall into when we try to make what God said, or what he has already spoken to us that he will do, when we try to make it happen in our own strength. If God said he will provide for you, why are you trying to do it in your own strength? Why are you trying to do it in your own way? Or how you think it's supposed to be done? At any moment when God says, I'm going to do this for you, then you take over and say, okay, that this is like, I need to figure this out. At any moment when you say, just to cut the rest, at any moment when you say that you got to figure this out, you're going to lean on your understanding. You're leaning on your own understanding, and you already messed up. Your faith, the foundation, your faith, the doubt, the trust is already not there. You're already done messed up. Because immediately when you say, I gotta figure this out, you say, I gotta figure this out. I gotta imagine how this is going to be. I gotta visualize this whole process. I gotta figure out every step. And then when you do that and you start trying to walk in those steps, you get frustrated because it's not working the way it's supposed to. Yeah, it's not working, and it's frustrating you, and you're overloading yourself because you're trying to do it in your strength, and because you're trying to do it with a grace that you don't have. You're trying to do it with an ability that you do not have. And God said, my grace is sufficient. It's enough. It's enough. But I need you to be obedient, and I need you to walk with me and follow my instruction and my time. Yes, my instruction might be for you to serve here for 6 months, for 3 years, for 7 years. But my instruction might be that, and I'm going to provide for you the entire 7 years. I don't need you to try to figure out what I already have ordained, what I have already spoken in. I know the thoughts that I have. I know the plans and the thoughts that I have for you. I already know that. I don't need you to try to figure it out. Your own understanding is not going to line up with what I have already thought these things to be. And I thought them from the beginning. Before even you were born, I already knew you. I knew you. And so if I knew you, I knew every thought that I had for you or concerning you. Every plan, I already knew it. So your understanding is not going to get you there. So you don't have to figure this out. You do not, I'm not asking you to figure it out. I'm asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to trust me to do what I say because I've already figured it out for you. But we start leaning on our own understanding because we start trying to fall into that trap and try to make what God said happen in our own strength, in the way that we done thought it out, the way that we done planned it in our hearts, in our minds, or the way we have planned it in our minds and agreed with it in our hearts to go. And then we try to produce the vision that God gave us. We try to produce it ourselves, and we can't do that. Only the one who set the vision can bring you through to it. Like only the one who set the vision. That's why the vision is yet for an appointed time. So you see, you're here, and what you see is way over here. You don't see anything in between. That's where faith bridges the gap. Faith bridges the gap. Okay. But faith, if it bridges the gap and it leads the way, and it has to. It's not. It's meant for you to follow God's way. It's meant for you to follow God's way. And God's way is going to take you through seasons. It's going to take you through the times, like I said, when you might be able to do something, and other seasons where you can't do that thing anymore. Where some seasons where you might have a little bit of freedom, you might have a little bit of wiggle room, and some seasons that you won't. You know what I'm saying? Some seasons, whatever season that you're in, you should be content. You need to adapt and be content with what God is doing, and be confident that in it, righteousness is being produced. Okay, be confident that in that season, or in whatever or wherever God is calling you to serve or be, or wherever He is, because the reality is you need to be where God is. And so if God is not in the busy work, if God is not in the school work that you have suddenly added to yourself, if God is not in the ministry work that you have assigned yourself to, that you have appointed yourself to do, if He's not in the place that you have appointed yourself, you need to get where He is, because the grace the grace is already not there, and you're already treading on dangerous waters, because there is no grace. That's why it's not doing anything. That's why it's not moving. That's why you're meeting the wall constantly. That's why you keep getting knocked back, because that's why that door. First of all, that door is not even open to you, but you're trying to force your way in. I don't know who I'm talking to, but you're trying to force your way in, and God is saying, "I'm over here." Okay, I'm over here. So I need you to come over here, because if you want this thing to work, or if you want at least my word, if you want my glory, you want my goodness to be, if you want that, then you got to come over here where I'm at. Yeah, you ain't gonna see me over there, because that's not where I'm at, and I'm not taking you anywhere that it's not the time to go yet. And I'm not sending you anywhere where my grace has not gone before, where I have not gone before you at. I haven't gone over there yet. Come on. When I go over that way, you'll know. But I need you to come here first. That door is not going to open over there until you get finished over here. Okay? We see that a lot. Certain doors do not open until you come through a certain season, or come through a certain place in your life where God still has to do things in you. That door is not going to open no matter how loud you bang on it. It's not going to open. God got to bring you to it. And He got to bring you through some other things first to prepare you for it. Because one thing that He showed me, and one thing God asked me, I asked God to do was enlarge my territory. And when He did, I asked Him, I said, God, what have you given me in this season? He said, more responsibility. I've given you more responsibility. I've given you more. Because you asked me to enlarge your territory, right? I gave you some more responsibility. So I'm asking you, I'm expecting you to pick up these things, and I'm expecting you to pick it up. And when you pick it up, know that you have my strength. Go in the strength that you have, and I'll meet you in every assignment. I'll meet you with everything concerning the kids, concerning your husband, concerning the home. I'll meet you there. Go in the strength that you have, and I'll meet you there. And trust me, it's going to stretch you out. It's going to stretch you out, and I'm going to get you right for the territory that you're going in. In this season, I've had to learn to be content with what God is doing in it. And be confident in the righteousness that He's producing in me, in my life, around me. I had to be confident. I have to be confident in that. And I had to know that I am being stretched. My territory is being enlarged. So that, and here's the thing. Here's the kicker, y'all. It's the best part of it all. If you made it to the end, it's the best part of it all, okay? Here's the thing. Righteousness being produced. I'm being stretched, okay? You're being stretched. Righteousness is being produced. You're being stretched. Your territory is being enlarged, so that all the things that the Lord knows that you need, so that they can be added to you, and you will have room to receive them. You will have room for them, because all the things that you're worrying about, a lot of times all the things that we worry about, we can't even handle. God, I'm worried about money. I need this. I need this. I need this. I need it. But if I give it to you right now, guess what? You're going to blow it. You're going to misuse it. You're going to mishandle it. You're not going to steward it well. You're going to mess it up. I got to stretch and enlarge some things first, because you ain't gonna have room for this. And also, considering the things that we trying to build up, you want this ministry, you want that, you want this, you want these things outside of your home, baby. I got to stretch you in your home first. I got to get you into some systems and some orders and some organizations and some discipline and some self-control and some patience. I got to stretch you in those areas first, because you won't be able to contain. You won't have the capacity for the things that you want to be added to you. And so when that righteousness is produced, when that thing is done what it need to do, when my work is done in you, when that patience has had her perfect work, so that you can be perfect and complete and whole and lacking nothing, then I will add these things to you. Seek me first. In all of my righteousness, seek me first. Seek me in every place. Seek to serve me first. Seek these places first. Find me here. Discover me. Discover what you need. Let me do a work in you. Let righteousness be produced. Okay, and then as that righteousness is produced, and I stretch you out, and I enlarge your territory, then I'll add these things to you. Then I will add these things, and you'll be able to maintain it. And I'm gonna close the book on that one. And the way God really has really shifted a thing for me, because this mindset, I'm telling you, that the world carries, and it's carrying them straight to a place of death. Okay, it's carrying them straight to a place of death. And I mean that even to the point where they're killing their bodies. No rest, burning out constantly. Fighting within themselves, fighting their minds, going through, thinking that they're having mental issues and things. No, this is the enemy playing with you. This is the lies that you have believed. This is the things that you have, or the ideas and the theories and the things that you have believed, or that you have taken into your mind, that have made sense, that you think apply to you, and that you have taken into your heart and made it a structure, made it a system that you believe, that you operate from, and now it's controlling your actions. But God is trying to fix all that, and He wants to dismantle all that, because that's destroying the trust between Him and His people, and it's causing people to be outside of Him, and it's causing people to not operate in His will, which is very important. That we must be doing things in His will, in His grace. And so I'm gonna leave that with y'all. Redeemed people of God, I pray that this word, this message, this video redeems, brings some sort of redemption, some sort of revelation and redemption into your minds, your life, some sort of breakthrough, so that you can understand, or that you can be able to shift, and your mind be able to be renewed. You be transformed, and your mind be able to be renewed, so that you can move forward, and that you can get past that stuck place. And that stuck place in your mind that's keeping you from being able to open up to God, or even for God to be able to pour into you what you need. And so, God bless y'all, redeemed people. I will see y'all on the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.